Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
Let's go.
All right.
New week.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, wow, okay.
Again?
Again.
All right, but before we do it, can I ask you, what's the color of your shirt?
Good question, because it's like a salmon color, I guess. Like pinkish.
That's very nice.
Like a pinkish, what is that called? What is that? Pinkish peachish color, kind of?
Looks nice on you.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's get back to it.
Are you trying to play some mind tricks on me?
Let's see if it works.
Let's see if it works.
Rock, paper, scissors. It didn't work. Apparently, if you ask somebody what's the color of their shirt before you do rock, paper, scissors, 80% of the time, they're going to do scissors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so I should have done paper, basically.
No, you're like the Winter Soldier. You broke the brainwash.
I broke the brainwash.
Okay, we're still at a tie.
One
more.
last time. Let's go.
Rock, paper, scissors. Oh, tie again. This is such an uncertain week right now.
This is insane.
Let's go one more time.
One last time.
Rock, paper, scissors. And I lost.
And you lost. I'm inching closer to that tie. So that means we're 5-6 right now?
Aisha's 5. I'm 6.
You're 6. So I'm going to do the honors and welcome you guys to the magic hour. That is the afternoon karak. Welcome. It's another week and we're inching closer and closer to Ramadan, which means hope you guys are ready for an entire shift. I know you guys have been going through a lot of Ramadans throughout your entire life, but it's like a whole new experience every single time, especially getting used to the sleeping schedule. Granted, that is already my normal sleeping schedule, which is waking up all night and sleeping all day, which isn't good, I know. I know it's not good, but it works out sometimes, and I've been trying to do the whole early morning thing, which I love very much. I am actually a morning person. But
so hopefully you can bring that back.
I don't think that's going to work out in Ramadan, because what am I going to do? Set 8 a.m. all the way till 6 p.m.
I see what you mean.
8 a.m. to 6 p.m., yeah.
And that's if you're not spending any time in the kitchen, looking at your water cooler, getting tempted.
Funny enough, I'm not the type that gets thirsty throughout Ramadan.
I'm the complete opposite.
I get
Water
hungry.
becomes my priority in life.
No, I got hungry, and I'm one of those people as well who, the moment the food arrives, I eat a tiny bit, then I'm like, okay, I'm good now. And then it's like, you've been hungry for the past at least 10 hours, and you're good now.
I think it's because your stomach
How does that
shrinks,
even
and
work?
it's just the fact that you humble yourself. Your stomach humbles and stuff. I don't need to eat so much. But then 2 o'clock in the morning, you pull out that big dish, and it's like
Not even 2 o'clock. It's like at 10 p.m. I'm like, okay, time for round 2. Usually it's something sweet around that. Actually, no. Right after I eat, I want something sweet instantly, because you have your savory food and then you have your dessert, which is a normal processing of things.
Yeah.
But I'm still down for having dessert before having your savory food. So maybe this Ramadan, maybe some of you guys can change it up. Have your, your knafa, your basbousa, your mhallabiya, your gemat at the beginning. And then have your, your soup and your salad and your kibbeh and all that. Maybe that's something new for 2021. Why not, right?
It's gonna be. We're gonna also be shifting our show to an evening time slot. I said nothing. You heard nothing. We're just. You heard nothing.
You heard nothing. But
Exactly.
you might hear something later on in the hour, right after our weekly review of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Episode 4. It's getting darker.
It's getting darker, but I think I saw it coming. Didn't you see it coming?
A little bit, like it was building up to it. So we want you guys to join in. Marvel fans, text us 4215. It's a lot to do, but always love to hear from you. And also we have some other great stories. Sony seems to be going all out with Netflix as well as their own video game exclusives. So be sure to tune in for all of that and so much more right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Is it an epic or epic failure? The Big Review. Movies, games, and TV in focus.
Pulse 95.
It is Sunday, so you know what time it is. It is the time for our The Falcon and Winter Soldier weekly review, which means we're going deep into spoiler territory, especially today, because today is very we kind of saw it coming, but it was kind of
still
jarring.
shocking, yeah.
It was quite jarring to talk about or even see. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I honestly, first of all, no matter how many times they try to humanize this man, I just really hate him. I cannot for the life of me like him. They try to make him they try to justify his means, which is what he's doing. And every time they basically talk about how he's been through a lot, how he feels that the persona of Captain America is too heavy on him. And I'm like, duh, that's why it was never given to you in the first place. You took it because you thought that you are the one who was able to do it because you had some sort of ego thing happening within you. And now you realize that no, you really can't do it. Even when they're referring to the thing that happened in Afghanistan, which is, okay, first of all, I'm tired of every time they have something. I can understand that the U.S. military is very heavily involved in Afghanistan. And
in proxy
the Middle
wars,
East.
yeah.
Exactly. But it's like, oh, the time in Afghanistan. I'm like, first of all, it's a recurring of a trope.
Yeah.
And also, it's like, I felt nothing towards him, honestly. When he said,
It was like a American exceptionalism mindset, and no.
Yeah, it's like, the thing, we could have saved so many people that day. I'm like, okay.
It's one of those situations where, you're going down a path of righteousness, even though at the same time your actions are not as ethical, but you believe that you're doing it for good means, And this is what we're seeing in John Walker is he is slowly, just progressively becoming more frustrated with the fact that nobody is giving him the respect he deserves for carrying that shield. And there was that one scene where the conflict, the clash happened, where the Wakandan warriors came, John Walker, Zemo, and Sam, and Bucky, and just a whole fight ensues, and he can't even keep up, There was that one part where one of the Wakandans grabbed his shield, and he just said, he's like, there weren't even super soldiers. And he was on the ground, just exhausted from the fight, and he felt defeated.
It's very interesting that it said righteousness, because I think that you're very right that it's righteousness, but it's self-righteousness.
Yeah.
Where he believes he's super important and super cool and should be respected. What he doesn't realize is that Steve Rogers had to earn that respect by actually throwing himself into those situations and being the person that he is. And this reminds me of something when they're talking about supremacists and how basically the Flag Smashers are supremacists. And both Bucky and they're like, no, he isn't.
Carly, yeah.
They're not supremacists. I mean, a lot of people took the serum and they're fine. And they said, for example, Steve Rogers, and Zemo said exactly, he is the exception to the rule. He says, how many Steve Rogers did we get since then? And we can see it reflected in John Walker because, like you said, he doesn't understand the concept of being a super soldier, especially a super soldier who is also carrying the title of Captain America. That is just not the glory.
Yeah.
He went through a lot for him to get that glory, and he still never cared about the glory either.
Actually, now that you put it this way, I'm thinking of how the super soldier serum, is being approached or treated by different characters, like John Walker and Carly and her team, and how they're compared to Steve Rogers. And there's such a big difference between all of them. They're all trying to use these superpowers for their own just cause, but at the same time, it comes off as somewhat of a terrorist attack, or somewhat as a supremacist action. They're all still trying to make people understand their situation, but they're left still misunderstood.
Exactly, and it just tells you that what they're using it as they're very blinded by what they're doing. They're very blinded by the fact that the serum is not something easy to get hold of. It's very cliche to say, but the Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. That is basically the entire concept of this past couple of episodes, and last episode in particular. And it's just getting better and better. And even the entire scene with him losing his mind, and the death was kind of sad. I have to admit, that was, I wouldn't say unexpected, but still kind of unexpected. Incredibly sad. I think it was the way he died was very, very, it's like shocking, it's jarring to say the least.
But it's the sort of like the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Exactly that. So he's like, okay, now I have the full reason as to why I should take the serum. And I believe he did take the serum because by the end of it, he was basically doing Captain America.
He was throwing these super soldiers across the whole room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Him jumping across the roof and whatnot. So basically justified it. He's like, yes, I've done the correct thing. This is the right thing. And we just need to see what happens with that because now he has a whole profound anger. And he basically marred the reputation of Captain America because people in that square all took a video of him doing that very heinous act. So it's going to circulate the internet. And I think it's also going to be very important for the Falcon because he needs to make a decision about that shield. Is he going to be the actual next Captain America?
Does he have to strip it from his hands?
Exactly. Take it away from him because he basically tarnished the term Captain America, completely ruined it. Yeah. Because now it's associated with somebody who is, I want to say bloodthirsty, but very harsh and, very
abusing
mean,
his power.
Abusing his power. And I think it was that scene with the shield.
And the blood.
The blood dripping from it was very iconic as well. But again, it was expected, but not expected. It was an interesting episode. I liked it.
It's a dark time for our superheroes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm not sure if you heard, but apparently we're going to get a big cameo in episode 5.
Okay, because Zemo he disappeared. I want more Zemo.
I loved Zemo. And the thing is, I'm going to say the thing I said before to you and even our lovely listener, Hind, shout out to Hind, when both of you said that he seems fishy. Mm-hmm. I think not. I think that he is not to be trusted, definitely. But his ideals are very obvious. He is super against the concept of the serum. And he's just doing anything to destroy it.
And he just wants to run away from those Wakandan warriors. Because when they stepped in, he's like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm bouncing. Forget that.
And also that joke throughout the week about the Zemo cut.
Oh, yeah.
We got the Zemo cut and even been making fun of DC.
So entertaining.
The DC universe as well about how Marvel fans got the Zemo cut within a week or less than a week, whereas they had to fight for years and years and years to get the Snyder cut of the Justice League. What do you guys think? We'd love to hear from you. 4215 Etisalat or you know what to do. We're gonna be moving to another big story, and that is Netflix and Sony and their new deals. Basically similar to what Warner Brothers is doing with HBO Max. Mm-hmm. They're doing exactly the same thing with licensing all of their big movies onto Netflix. Let's talk about that right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
Netflix has just snatched one of the biggest deals, and it has to do with Sony and their own big movie intellectual properties. As from, I think, next year, they're going to be debuting their biggest Sony film releases exclusively on Netflix.
That is amazing news for a lot of people out there, and also a smart move from Sony because instead of doing what Warner Brothers did, what the other big studios and channels did by making their own streaming service, they're like, no, let's partner up with another streaming service that already exists.
That's big enough and established.
Exactly. Instead of working on getting our numbers up and whatnot, and then just release our movies there. And I think that is very, very big on Netflix because now it allows it to compete directly with all these platforms that basically took away all the movies that they initially licensed for Netflix, but the moment they had their own streaming services, they moved them to theirs. Now they can get all of Sony's big movies, whether it's Morbius, they're gonna get also the Jumanji franchise, Uncharted, Spider-Man, big titles. And that's exciting news for a lot of people across the world as well because we don't get access to a lot of these streaming platforms in the first place. We don't have HBO Max yet.
We don't have Paramount Plus. We don't have Peacock.
Mm-hmm. So now we already have Netflix. It's going to be so easy for them to license it across the world and for everybody to easily get a chance to experience that. So it's great news, honestly. It's a surprise. It came on Thursday night, but it's honestly a good sort of, I'd say, agreement. One of those agreements that are really, really good, to be honest.
You know what's also interesting about it is that compared to how Warner Bros. Treated their releases, where they would have a theatrical release corresponded with the digital release at the same time.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with the Sony releases is that it's first going to have its theatrical release to sort of for a couple of weeks, and then it will jump into Netflix. I think giving Sony the chance to make some blockbuster revenue before jumping into Netflix as well. So it's a little bit of a difference, but again, it's one that I think is very strategic and one that is well thought out from both ends of the party.
Oh, definitely, definitely. What do you guys think about this deal? Because I'm excited for it, and I think that is a fantastic deal coming from them, honestly. Like,
Take notes, MGM. Give us James Bond already.
Please give us James Bond already.
And not for $600 million. That's
And
still a
not
little
for-
too much.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they lost a lot more money than the $600 million they could have used to air it on Netflix. But perhaps they are learning right now. We're going to be taking a very, very short break, and we'll be back with a celebration, an interesting one, a very good one about a means of transport that we don't speak about too often. Coming right up next, right here on the Afternoon Correct.
What's the date?
What's the date?
What's the date?
What are we celebrating today?
Submarines. That is exactly what we are celebrating, because today, the 11th of April, just happens to be Submarine Day. And I don't know, how do you feel about submarines, Mikhail? Underrated, overrated?
It's underrated. And I think at the same time, it's a love-hate relationship. I love the idea of a submarine, but I wouldn't see myself going in one because I'm kind of claustrophobic.
I don't blame
And I've
you.
watched a couple of those movies where, you know, something goes wrong with a submarine, like a leakage or air pressure issues. And it's like, I do not want to be in a tight hallway with with 100 men, you know, as we're going, like, sinking into the ocean. There's just like this weird little fear about it.
I don't blame you, because usually when we think of submarines, we think of something very small and cramped. But if there is like a big submarine, I wouldn't mind that.
I mean, I'll probably stand outside, you know.
How
but,
would you stand outside a
like,
submarine?
while it floats, I'll be like on top of it, you know. I'll play badminton with my
that
friends.
defeats the purpose of a submarine. What you're thinking of, Mikhail, is a cruise ship.
Let's say like a surfer board kind of cruise ship kind of experience, you know.
That's a cruise ship and not a submarine.
You know,
Submarines should be underneath the water, which hence the point of a submarine.
I would like to do something where I'm on top of the submarine as it slowly goes under.
Like
you know?
standing?
Yeah, just like I'm standing and then it goes down and I just like, I don't go down with it, but then I just start floating and it goes below me.
Huh? How do you not go down with it?
No, as in like I'm just on the surface of the submarine.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just the feeling of it going down as it leaves me in the middle of the ocean by myself, getting casted away.
I don't know. I don't know how to reply to that.
I'm a weird guy. I don't know what
I
to
don't know
tell
how to
you.
reply to that, but you do you, I guess. But I don't think that's going to work out, to be honest. I don't think anyone will allow you to do that. That feels a bit too dangerous.
It sounds
To say
expensive.
the least. And expensive. But I would love to go on that submarine from the Atlantis movie. That was a massive submarine, and it looked like a super cool submarine that had a lot of amenities and cool things here and there. So that is definitely a submarine that I would love to be in, but not the tiny cramped ones, even though I don't think there is 100 men or people within a submarine. They're usually less
I
than that.
think the really big ones, the ones that are used for like, you know, underwater reconnaissance and stuff like that.
Maybe,
The
but
superpower, we're talking like the superpower
even
submarines.
those, I don't think that you would have a lot of people in them, because again, it kind of is very cramped. They're low in
Yeah.
oxygen as well. Imagine a lot of people just, breathing and looking for oxygen. It's going to become a bit of a problem. What do you guys feel about submarines? Do you have any emotions towards submarines? Are they underrated, overrated, or adequately rated?
I think underrated because, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's such a great ingenuity, but at the same time, it's a bummer that it's not like actual like public transportation. Like you can't like book a submarine, you know, for like
to
a
get
week.
from where to where?
Like we got cruise ships, we got plane, you know, we got all these other cool ways of transporting ourselves.
Okay.
But why don't we have like regular submarine trips? That would be nice.
Going from where to where, I ask again.
Just, hey, you may say it's weird now, but let's say 50 years from now, there's like these luxury service industries that actually have like submarine hotels that you can spend a few days underwater, and let's see if I'm crazy.
Those hotels already exist. There are plenty of hotels with underwater rooms anyway.
But we're talking like a mobile, we're going from like New York to London kind of trip,
Okay, I think
that would be cool.
That would be cool, but I think maybe there's a lot of factors going into it. For example, again, breathing oxygen is going to be an issue when you're down there.
I'll have a straw like...
That's a very, very long straw. Guys, do you agree with Mikhail? I know that people go crazy in general and do crazy things, but what do you guys think? Is this underwater submarine experience, or just stick above the surface with the just with the cruise ship? Just go on a cruise ship, Mikhail.
I don't wanna.
Just go on a cruise ship.
Nah.
We can argue about that, off the air, because we have the sports headlines coming up, and then we can circle back and argue about it later. We've got a big discussion about spoilers coming right up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
This is a very important discussion. I want to take our time with this one because this is a quote from the creator or director of Godzilla vs. Kong when he was explaining that Mechagodzilla being spoiled wasn't a big deal. Which, first of all, before I go right into it, let me just read to you guys what he says. He says, I know some people were mad at me online, probably rightfully so, because I posted a picture of me with a Mechagodzilla toy. But the toy is in storage right now. You can buy it at Walmart. The Funko version of him is out. This is not a secret. I'm very social media literate, so I probably should have put a spoiler page before it. He should have. That probably would have made people feel pretty good, but at the end of the day, I was asked specifically by Warner Brothers to post a picture of the toy. And if you remember back, we had a rumor that there were official merch being sold, I believe it was somewhere in Latin America, that showed Mechagodzilla. And when we watched the movie, at least since I was the one who gave the lowest rating out of the two of us, I felt that besides Mechagodzilla, there wasn't really much to that movie in terms of something that was, oh wow, it's crazy, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And apparently the director of the movie himself says he doesn't really care about the spoilers. And he went quite into depth about the concept of spoilers and spoiler culture and whatnot. And I feel like, what do you feel about the idea of spoilers? Because I think I told you once how I got really angry about a bunch of mutuals on Twitter who would literally watch something and then they would live tweet it throughout the entire hour. And I'm like, why? Not everybody has the time to watch the thing the second it's out. Give them at least like an entire day. Like, it's an unspoken rule that if some episode comes out, give people a day before you start retweeting and tweeting spoilers.
The spoiler culture is comprised of many groups of people. There are those that are very extreme about, like, I don't want to hear anything. They close themselves away. Then there's the spoiler people that just embrace it because they probably saw it online. They're like, okay, it's fine. I'm still going to get into it and try to enjoy myself. And then there are those who are going to always ruin it for others, who take joy in spoiling for other people. And I really, really hate this. So it's a weird environment that we're in. But I think there's two interesting sides. One is that some people really want to go into something blindly, and I get that. I can understand it. Most people.
Which is why we often argue about.
But there are people
about the trailers, the 2-minute trailers that basically tell you the entire story.
I know. And then there are those who actually embrace spoilers. They're okay with it. They actually go out of their way to see something so that they can have some sort of expectation when they jump in. Mm-hmm. And I remember there's this one guy who discussed it just as in depth as the director here, who says that it's okay for you to already know about something so that the anticipation of it feels just as good, you know, because coming in blindly, sometimes you kind of lose yourself. You can lose track of what's going on, you know, and you're left not as entertained as you thought you would. So again, it's a personal preference.
It's a personal preference, but don't you think that those people are a niche group? The ones who enjoy spoilers?
Very niche.
Exactly.
There's rarely anyone that I would know. Actually, there was probably one friend.
See, that's the thing. There's always just one person out of a big friend group who doesn't mind the spoilers.
Oh my God, I would recommend him an anime, and we're probably like watching a few episodes in, and he's already on Wikipedia looking at the plot. I'm like, no, don't do that.
What's the point of that? I mean, I understand everybody to each their own, but especially in the context of this movie. Again, I go back and say that if Mechagodzilla wasn't revealed to anybody, it would have probably been a bit more enjoyable to some people, including people who are such as myself, who are looking for something within that movie, because we already knew that there was going to be some sort of, there's going to be a fight.
You and I are in that very extreme. Like, it really matters whether or not we get spoiled or not.
I think a lot of people are in that group, to be honest, a majority of it. And I'm also going to talk about a bit about Attack on Titan, for example.
Yeah.
Because it's an anime that a lot of people have been watching, especially lately since season 4 came out. A lot of new people started joining into the fandom. And I felt so bad for them because, one, they didn't know much about it until lately. They're like, yes, let's join this fandom. And it's one of those fandoms where people go insane when it comes to spoilers, as in the moment a chapter drop. Actually, no, not even the chapter drops, because they usually get the pages first, and then they would give it to the publisher, and sometimes it will get translated in other languages before English or Arabic or whichever preferred language you have. And other people, despite not understanding the language, they would actually go and browse through the empty panels, that's one. Two, they would browse through other languages. And I'm like, why would you do that? And I understand they're probably part of the niche group who are okay with the spoilers.
Yeah.
But the majority of the people are not. So why would you start making artwork, retweeting, discussing it? The least you can do is put a spoiler, tag hashtag above, so that people who have muted it, they don't get their experience ruined. It's just a simple courtesy thing on the internet where, again, you either wait an entire day, just 24 hours, just don't talk about it. Go to your friends, text them in private, and then come and rant about it and online after the day. Or again, just put the hashtags. It's so easy to put up a hashtag so that people can mute it.
Maybe they're not aware of that,
Oh, they are.
Oh, okay.
They are. They're just selfish. To say the least, I think they're just outright
self-absorbed. They don't really care. It's like, if you see it, you see it. It's your fault for seeing it.
It's your fault for seeing it. You should have kept up. Like, my friends all have jumped onto the Attack on Titan manga bandwagon because they're like, we're seeing small spoilers here and there.
Yeah.
Even though, again, like me and my other friend who do read it have been sending memes to each other privately. I mean, it's so easy when you already have a group of people who are on par with you in terms of where they've read, what they've watched. Send them the memes. The rest of the world does not need to see them. As long as you enjoy it and have some sort of conversation with somebody, why are you sharing it everywhere? It's so simple. Again, it's common courtesy in my opinion.
Which is why we want to ask you guys, our listeners, text us 4215 and Slaughter do you enjoy a piece of entertainment better if it's not spoiled for you or if it is spoiled for you? I think this is a really interesting question, and we can go on forever, but we got to take a bit of a break. And coming up next, we're going to be talking about Sony. Apparently, there's reports of them remaking the first Last of Us. That's weird. We're not talking remastering. We're saying remaking. So stay tuned.
Speculation, gossip, or hoax. Rumor has it.
One thing I always know about the two big game publishers, that is Xbox and PlayStation, whereas Xbox is focusing on accessibility, and it's well known by their Xbox Game Pass and playing games on the Xbox, on the PC. PlayStation's biggest focus is exclusivity. And they showed this by their AAA titles. As we know, that's sort of their cash cow, making big budget video game projects. And it seems that rumor has it, and this comes from Bloomberg's report, that Sony is reorganizing some of their big first-party studios, namely one of the internal teams called Visual Arts Service Group. This is a team of developers who step in to assist the big AAA title, sort of the first-party studios like Naughty Dog, like Ben Studios, when they're reaching that crunch period and they need extra assistance to polish the game out. This Visual Arts Service Group comes in. The rumor says that they've been appointed by Sony to work on a Last of Us remake. And apparently Sony refused to expand their team and give them the budget that is necessary. And so instead, now what's happening is the Last of Us remake is being brought to Naughty Dog, and what's left of the Visual Arts Group is actually stepping in to assist, because some of the developers actually walked out because of this particular project. They were hoping to be their own studio to make their own new IPs, but Sony had other plans for them. So it's weird. It's a weird shift that's going on right now with these big first studio companies. And one thing to add to it is Ben Studios, the developers behind Days Gone, have also tried to pitch their own sequel to the game, but that was rejected by Sony. And even them have been also allocated to help Naughty Dog to work on this Last of Us remake, because apparently it's still in development.
It's like a mess.
It's a weird. The more I read it, the more I'm like, okay, what is Sony trying to do here? I know they're focused on these AAA titles, but at the expense of just cutting chunks of their studios apart to do these these very specific projects that even the developers don't feel comfortable doing.
Thing is, it raises so many questions and makes you wonder, was it even necessary to do a Last of Us Part 1 remake? Again, the word remake is very important.
Yeah.
And no, we will not fight about the definition of remake, reboot anymore. We're not going to go down that road, not today. But the point is, it's much more intense than just a remaster. So this means that is Naughty Dog even happy with the decision in the first place? Are the game devs happy with it? Does that mean we're gonna get something, as I'd say, not up to par with what is expected out of Naughty Dog and the Last of Us series in general? Is it gonna be even accepted by the fans themselves? Because we know that the Last of Us fans love their content a lot.
They're very, how do I say, divided at the moment.
And they are very, very, they're very opinionated and critical sometimes. So it just means, are you going to divide them even more than they already are? Are you going to create more problems? Because at least I know that all the Last of Us fans can agree that the story aside, when it comes to the mechanics and just everything visual about the game, it was beautiful. So are you going to take that away from them as well?
Yeah.
What is going on? We're not really sure. This is only a rumor, despite the fact that it is from Bloomberg, so it is from a trusted source. Bloomberg was most likely not going to report on something that is not at least somewhat credible. So again, even though it's just a rumor, it is somewhat of a credible rumor.
Yeah.
Again,
we're just chasing the breadcrumbs, you could say.
But they're good, high-quality breadcrumbs. They're
credible breadcrumbs. Exactly.
They are sourdough breadcrumbs, not just cheap bread, someone for 2 dirhams breadcrumbs. We're going to be taking a short break, and we'll be back with another story. This one is about the Star Wars lightsaber. Yes, they have created a real one, apparently, and I would like one really, really badly.
Oh, dear.
Stay tuned for that and so much more right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
Do you know how a long time ago we spoke about our preferred colors when it comes to lightsabers? I don't remember what I said, but I would like to, whatever I said back then, I want to retract it.
Okay.
I think I want a pink lightsaber.
Sure, why? I'd like a purple one.
There's already a purple one.
I know. Purple or black. That would be great.
But doesn't it defeat the purpose of being a light saber as an actual light? How will it work?
It would be
out
black with like a white silhouette, you know? So like a white trim.
Again, I don't think it's gonna work. Because Sith Lords are black and those dark colors and red and all that. And again, light. As in, you cannot emit light from black. Black is the absence of light.
You wanted pink color, right?
Yeah.
So it matches your shirt.
Yes, it matches my. Are you gonna try? You can't do it again, are you?
No, of course not.
Or a peach one. That is very, very specific. But I think it's gonna work out, especially since apparently, according to the chairman of Disney Parks, Disney has actually created a working lightsaber. First of all, what kind of divisions does Disney have that allows them to create a real lightsaber? Because this feels like more of an actual science experiment that goes beyond animatronics and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what is going on in Disney? What kind of mad scientists have they employed at their parks, first of all?
Yeah.
Second of all, I don't think that's dangerous, don't you think?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Because are you talking like an actual, like, tangible laser? Like, if it will touch me, I will get burned?
I mean, that's what they said when they said a real lightsaber.
Okay. Because that's okay. First, as a fan, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then as a human being who lives in society, if somebody's walking around with
We live in a society.
We live in a society. We're saying that, like, just everyday life, if I see somebody walking with a lightsaber in the middle of the night and he's charging at me, I'm going to be pretty scared because he's going to slice me like a little piece of bread. You know?
Sourdough bread?
Sourdough bread. I'm going to get toasted, that's for sure.
That's for sure. I'm going to pass out. I'm like, you know what? There's no point of me running. I could not outrun that person. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I guess.
There has to be some scientific explanation because the thing is that it's so under wraps. A lot of the reporters just got a chance to look at it at the press release, but they can't really specify anything about how it's actually being achieved. And we're not talking like it's a plastic light, one of those cheap kind of, it's not cheap actually because it's like $100-200 when you go to Disneyland. So I don't know if this will be the next replacement that they're going to add to.
Oh God, I'm pretty sure that's going to be instantly categorized as an actual weapon.
Oh dear.
I don't think that's going to be
I think the
sold.
U.S. military might get involved. It's like, no. We're going to have to patent that, you know.
Please, yeah. I think, again, what kind of mad scientist is hiding underneath those secret labs and the Disney parks and resorts? Because apparently if they can make one, they can go all kinds of crazy things.
Now,
honestly.
if it's just harmless light, I want to get myself one.
And don't they already sell these, though?
We're talking like the one that they're talking about this in the
We don't
press
even know
release.
what they're talking about in this press release, but we're going to believe them and hope that it's just light and not an actual laser. We're going to be
So
taking
a pink lightsaber.
Pink lightsaber.
I'm going to take purple.
Purple.
Text is 4215. It's still have to do. What colored lightsaber would you love to have?
We'd love to know from you. We're going to be taking a short break and we're going to hype you up about something really, really cool that's going to be happening later on in this week. So stay tuned for that coming right up next.
Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah.
On Pulse 95.
You may have noticed it's not a suggestion segment anymore because we have an important announcement about the upcoming new version of the Afternoon Karak for Ramadan. We're not going to be Afternoon Karak. We're going to be the Evening Karak, won't we?
Yes, we're going to be debuting our show from the first day of Ramadan all the way throughout the month, and we're going to be going live from 8 till 10 p.m.
Exciting.
Oh yeah.
Exciting because
And it's just not going to be a regular hour. We got
no.
we got some special segments with some special things that we're going to be doing, and some prizes.
prizes, wink, wink, wink. They're going to be prizes. They're going to be some really good prizes. Wink, wink, wink. We promise you there are real prizes and we're not going to be giving out, the game out outside the Sharjah Broadcasting Authority. It's actual prizes. Or it's going to be having some new segments, some storytelling, some riddles, some guess me questions, all the fun that we usually have during the afternoon cut.
But
doubled. Because again, we're going live from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. So that's 2 hours, an extra hour of fun just for you guys. And again, it's starting from the first day of Ramadan through throughout the entirety of the month. We have our lovely listener Hind, who is quite late to say the least. Yani, we've been waiting for you, Hind.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. We've been waiting for you and your MCU input, but it's okay. She says, "Hi, Mikhail. She's got dibs on the purple lightsaber, please.
Ooh.
But if you insist, she'll take a green one."
Okay. I mean, thing is, for me, purple, because I want to be in the dark side with a purple lightsaber. So if she's going to go green, she's going to be Jedi,
Okay. Can I be an anti-hero just to be cool?
Okay.
Just to be cool. I don't want to.
Because there is no pink lightsaber. So you can be like that vigilante, that mysterious
Who somehow has a lightsaber.
Force user.
And like, nobody knows. How did she get a lightsaber and why is it pink? It's a mystery that can be unraveled. Upcoming next on Disney Plus. I hope so. One day. Who knows?
Disney, please sign her.
Disney, sign me up. I'm down for it. So yeah, and with that, we wrap up our hour right here on the Afternoon Karak. Again, guys, Evening Karak coming in a couple of days on the first day of Ramadan. She actually says, "I sent my review to your Instagram because I was afraid to break your system." It's okay. I'll be chatting with you.
Break our system. We don't mind.
You know what? Good point. Yes, break our system. We'd always love hearing from you, Hind, and all of our lovely listeners. But unfortunately, we need to wrap up the hour and pass on the panel or pass on the mantle towards Yalla Home, Big Hass, and Anna Schofield coming right up next, right here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Afternoon Karak, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.